Well, good morning. Good morning, everyone. Just give me a second. Good morning, everybody. Hope you're having a good morning. Yes, people. I'm back. All right. Today we're talking about something very important to me. Okay? We're talking about growing up. You know it's important, right? It's very important, okay? Good morning. Good morning, everybody. Just getting in. Just give me a minute. All right. Okay. Look at me getting snacks. Talking about growing up here, people. Good morning. If you're just getting in, click the subscribe. All right. Click and subscribe. Queen Showtime. Good morning, people. All right. We're going to be talking about growing up. Yeah. It's very important. It's very important that we know that, you know, just getting older, people. So let's do this correctly, right? All right. What are you guys having for breakfast? Good morning, everyone. It's Queen Showtime. I'm in New York City. All right. Get you some coffee. Drink some water. All right. All right. Let's go. All right. Because I don't think the problem is that adults act childish. I think a lot of people never actually grew up. Okay? They just got older. Same habits, same reactions, same mindset. Just a little bit more freedom and more consequences. And if that sounds harsh, it's because it's real. Okay? Good morning, everybody. You know, you have to address these things because it's rooted in your childhood. You'll learn that in psychology. A lot of times when someone's yelling and screaming at you, you think you're talking to an adult. No, you're talking to the child within them that no one ever listened to. Imagine if when you were as a kid, and this is just a side note, we're going to keep it light, but I want you to know something because I studied psychology and I understand, and I want you to keep this in mind in every situation where you feel like somebody's acting childish. Imagine if when a person was a child, when they jumped in the water, they immediately started drowning. They were screaming for help. They were screaming for their mom and their father to help them get out of the water, and no one could see them drowning. So they stood there screaming, and this happened to them when they were about 7 years old. That same person will go on a vacation and get in a floating device, and immediately, if it's not working correctly, and they find themselves drowning in the water, they will revert right back to that childhood memory. And they will be screaming like a baby for their mom and for their dad to save them from drowning. It'll be stuck in their head. Just like when people argue and fight, it's because of things that happened to them when they were young. They're still arguing and fighting the same way they did when they was a kid. Because it didn't get addressed when they were young. And it still didn't get addressed as an adult. So they're still doing it. The same behavior. The same childish behavior. The same childish reaction. Okay? Just keep that in mind. Okay, people? Because we need to be aware. We need to start being more aware of why people act the way they do. You might be in a relationship. And your spouse, when she doesn't get what she wants, or he doesn't get what he wants, they might throw a little tantrum. So remember what I just told you about that, Sometimes you're not talking to the adult. You're talking to the child within them. Okay? All right. All right, because childish behavior, I'm going to tell you this. You have to be aware because this childish behavior is not going to always be loud. You won't always see it coming. It's not going to always be obvious. A lot of time, it's quiet. A lot of time, it's ignoring people instead of communicating. It's acting like you don't care when you do. Okay? It's avoiding conversations because you don't know how to handle them. That's what kids do. Okay? When they don't understand, they can't figure out their emotions yet. But when adults, it's like when adults do it, we dress it up. Okay? We dress it up. We call it, I'm protecting my peace. Hands over the shoulder. Defense. We call it, I don't have time for the drama. Right? No. Sometimes, no, like you're just avoiding growth. Talking about you have time for the drama. You're avoiding growth. You don't want to grow. I'm all about clarity. Okay? And living in a place like New York City, you see it clearly. All right? You see people who are focused. Right? But you also see people who are stuck. Same city, same opportunities, completely different mindsets. Okay? Let's get deeper into this. All right? Because some of this isn't just childish. It's about character. All right? Like using people. How many out there you using people right now? Do you think they don't know? If you're using somebody, not just talking to the ladies, I'm talking to the men in the back too. If you're a man or a woman and you're using somebody, do you think they don't know that you're using them for whatever you're using them for? Sometimes they do know. Sometimes they do. And I'm going to tell you right now, don't wait for them to flip a lid. I see a lot of people want to be gold diggers. At some point, Grandpa's going to want to go upstairs. The same for you dudes. You know what I'm saying? You know, people ain't just using cougars. They using us regular people. You don't even know. Take a girl out on a date. Take her out to dinner. She acts intrigued. She doesn't ever call you back. Sir, you was just a coupon. They had a 2-for-1 at BBQs and she showed up. And the little doggy bag for her son is really her man. But thank you very much. You know? And guys know you women, like women use them. But they, you know, sometimes people are like in it for the long haul, eh? Man. And you people, you borrowing things, you know, you're not going to return it. You ever borrowed something from your friend? You was like, you know what? I like this. I'm going to keep this. Man, I tell you, my friend, she gave me a jacket to borrow. I went out to the club. I was wearing white, but I didn't have a jacket on. It was getting cold. So she was like, oh, I got a jacket because we was all getting ready to go to the party. And I'm like, yeah, I'll wear the jacket. I'm wearing the jacket. Everywhere I went, everybody was giving me a compliment. Balenciaga. And I'm like, who they talking to? Me? Yes, yeah, that's me. Move. Scram. Yeah, I'm Balenciaga. What's up? Yeah, just say my number. Balenci. End of the night, oh, I had such a good time. And night came, you know, and it was morning and everything. They had brunch and all that stuff. And the sun started coming up. And she was like, oh, let me get my jacket. It was almost like, your jacket? Beach? That's my jacket now. I got to wear it tomorrow. I got a hot date. He has to see the jacket. Oh, it was like a Cinderella story. All right. And the wicked witch sister took my golden shoes. Okay? That is what, you know, they take advantage of someone because they're kind. Like, look how kind Steve Urkel was to Laura. He gave Laura whatever she wanted. I wanted to be Laura. She got flowers, birthday gift, trips, concerts, celebrity stars singing to her. All from Steve Urkel. Shoot. He was so nice. I'm telling you, you cannot be that kind to people. I know you got people like loved ones, family members. It's like, seems like love knows no bounds. That's why, you know, family members doing wild things to people's kids. Wild things to people's kids. Demonic. They have family members robbing people. Robbing their own family member. Hurting their own family member. Cutting off limbs. Ain't forgive them. You just forgive them. They ruin your credit. I know some PPP loans that went through, and y'all didn't even know y'all had a PPP loan. Family members just use your information, your social security. Man. And then imagine you just at work trying to be kind. Because you have to be kind and you at work. But the customer just won't stop. You give her napkins. You give her a fistful of sauce, but she won't stop being annoying. She's taking advantage of your kindness. At some point, we have to dominate the room and practice a little assertiveness. We have to stop people from taking, and stop people from taking advantage of you. Protect your space. All right? Protect your space. Protect your mind, okay? And protect your heart. Okay, people? And remember, a lot of times when people are using you, you won't be able to tell that they're using you. People use you for things you don't know. It's like you think it's not important. You know? You never know if they just using you for because they know you always smoke. So like, oh, let me be around this person that always smoke or always drink. I'm going to go see what they doing. No, dang well, they ain't got nothing to pay for it. They ain't going to just go sit around where it's popping at. They ain't got no money, right? They ain't got no money. They go stand in front of the store. See who you could use. Press you when you coming out the store. I saw how much change you had. You know, you don't know what's going on with the next person. You don't. You know, there are some people that really are that kind. They'll lend you a loaf of bread knowing that they're starving. And they only have a little bit of this, a little bit of that. And they'll lend you a loaf of bread. You know, they'll lend you money knowing that they have bills to pay. But see, the thing about being kind is you're going to mess yourself over. Because what you do for people, they won't always do for you. How you show up for people, they won't always show up for you. How you make time for others, they don't have time for you. And that's what you have to think about, okay? And that's why I say, it's not really childish. It's just who they are. They've been this way. Since they was a kid, they were that, that self-centered, that selfish, that greedy, that immature. They lack the intelligence and the growth to do things that you can. Okay? Now, let me see. I just like to make sure people have clarity and understand what I'm talking about. I'm not trying to have a surface level conversation. I really want you to have an understanding and some growth and learn while you're watching this live. Good morning, everyone. If you're just getting in, we're getting to it, and we're talking about immaturity, okay? All right, people. Because you gotta make sure you understand what's going on with people. All right? Okay, because they will ignore you and they need to communicate. They're scared to communicate. They scared to grow. You ever text somebody and they don't want to text you back? It's like in this day and age, with the internet and all, we get a little shooken. I don't know about you, but I get a little shooken when my phone rings. It's like I'm not used to my phone ringing anymore. I used to get excited about the phone ringing, even knowing I wasn't going to answer it until after 7 p.m. But I'd get excited to see that it rang. It was a different time. The phone rang, people would look around. Who got a cell phone? Me. Talking about immaturity. Okay? It's about having integrity. All right, people? Integrity. All right? Because immaturity is not integrity. All right? And lying too. Not just big lies. Small ones. Saying you busy when you're not. Lame. Saying you'll do something you know you won't. Okay. You know, that's not harmless. But look, saying you're busy when you're not, right? I'm not going to lie to somebody and say, oh, I'm at the zoo. I'm clearly at my home. Then they see me and it's like, why you was acting like you was at the zoo? No, I'm going to say straight up. I don't want to be bothered right now. You can say that. Feel free to say that. I do not want to be bothered right now. Girl, I am tired. Okay? Or better yet, I'm watching my show. I'll get back to you after this 6 episodes I'm about to watch. I just made some popcorn. All right, have a good day. All right? People should respect your boundaries. They should not ask you any questions after that. If you feel you have to lie because you feel that people won't respect your boundaries, you're acknowledging that immaturity a little bit too much. Lay it down like a pipe. Let them know this is what it is. I'm protecting my peace. I'm trying to use my time more wisely. It's no offense to you. Stuff like that. No offense to you, but I just don't want to be bothered today. Okay? You don't have to be in a bad mood to protect your peace. You don't have to be in a bad mood to want to have a moment to yourself to reflect and think and reevaluate situations, relationships. You are allowed to have space. So let's stop all the lying, all the bullcrap. Let's just be real, okay? Nobody has time for this fake nonsense. I don't. Okay? I don't know how old I look, but I'm 43 years old, and I'm really tired of the bullcrap. I am. So I only socialize with people who are mature, because when you want to act like a child, there's not much that can be done with that, because I'm not raising you. Remember that, people. When you're around immature people, sometimes you just have to part ways, because you'll find yourself raising them. You'll be picking up right where their mother left off. I'm sure a lot of you are dealing with that in relationships. Your spouse acting like a child. Hell, maybe I've acted like a child in my own relationship. I'm telling you, when certain things happen, trauma, we all grew up with some kind of trauma. Okay? We all grew up with some kind of trauma in our lives. Something that didn't get dealt with. Something that wasn't addressed. And I'm telling you, it's a trigger in your life or in other people's life if you don't have that trigger. Maybe when you was a kid, you got into a car accident. You'll never drive again. Or when you drive, you feel uneasy. You always remembering that time that the car swerved on the road and got so close to the water. It's always going to be in your head. If you ever got into a wild fight with someone close to you, you'll never feel safe enough to express who you truly are around someone. You might be scared that they too will hurt you. A lot of people don't understand how a woman can get caught up in a situation dealing with, a partner abusing them in situations. And it's like, why does she still stay there clinging to him? I'm telling you, sometimes they've dealt with that. When they were a child, they were abused. And that's why I tell people, don't abuse your children. They'll grow up thinking that that's okay. But imagine being in a relationship and they abused you, but they told you that they love you. That's the same thing your parents told you. They abused you. Every time you made a mistake, you were growing up. You didn't know right from wrong. Even if somebody told you, you wanted to see for yourself. And you grew up and you made mistakes. And as you grew up, every time you made a mistake, they abused you and it stuck with you. And now, when you're an adult, You're in a relationship with somebody that checks your behavior by abusing you, and you think that it's normal, and you think that it's love because that's how you grew up. But every time they put their hands on you, I guarantee, think about how you're feeling at that moment. Because at that moment, deep down, you're still the little child that was getting abused. Okay? Think about that. Trauma. Trauma, it stays with you until you address it. Now, I'm not going to tell people, okay, talk to somebody, get a therapist. A lot of times people don't want to talk to anyone. But find a way, an outlet for you to breathe, for you to say what you need to say and just let it out. Or express it through art, through hobbies, through exploring the world. Free yourself. Write it down. You never know how many people's lives you can save by writing it down. Okay? All right. I just like to have clarity, people. So remember, immaturity is not integrity. All right? You okay? And you don't have to lie to people. You tell them just straight up. All right? You don't say you're going to do something, you don't want to do it. Say, no. They might ask why. Say, I don't feel like it. They might be like, well, why you don't feel like it? I don't know. It's the way my brain works. You know? Just have your rebuttals ready. Like, come on now. People will ask you, you're not obligated to always be in go time. You're not obligated to always carry somebody's groceries. You're not obligated to be the doorman. You're not. It's kind. But remember, people take kindness for weakness, and at times you need to protect your peace. Don't overextend yourself. That's all I'm saying. You go to the movie theaters with your girl, you hold the door for your girl, and about 8 other women. But after that, you go into. You give them one of these little, like, y'all got it. Mm-hmm. Yeah, keep it moving. You're not the doorman. You want to be kind enough that people see that you are kind. But strong enough for people to know not to play with you. Okay? It's very simple. All right? Because lying and telling people, oh, you do something and then you don't want to do it. You know what I'm saying? It don't make no sense. You know how many times people done told me, oh, let's go here, meet me over here. I get there, ain't nobody there, I'm the only one there. You said you was going to do something, you ain't even going to do it. Or let alone somebody say, oh, they doing this, that, and the third, and you want to go and surprise them. They not even there, boo. They not there. Okay? And all that stuff might seem harmless. Playing those little childish games is harmless, right? That builds a habit of dishonesty. Cheating. Not just in relationships, people. Cheating people in business. Being fake to someone's face. That's not confusion, all right? That's a choice. That's a choice. And jealousy? The quiet, kind, the one nobody admits to. Smiling in someone's face, but feeling bad when they do better. Supporting someone, but only to a point. You know? This is real. This is real. Once you pass them, it stops feeling good. That's not hate. That's insecurity. You're insecure. All right? And I know you think over time people learn and they grow. Mm-mm. Must be having a fever dream. They do not learn and grow. They stay like that. That's who they are. That's who they are. Okay? I'm telling you. Why do people stay like that though? Why? Because they can. All right? Because they can. I done seen some people that were really, really nasty. Really nasty. And they used to do all types of evil things to people, kicking old ladies and spitting on people and just vulgar. And then one day somebody came. I ain't gonna say it too tough, but it looked like a baseball team. And when it was all over, they was looking like Martin Lawrence. And after that, they started to be a little more kind to people. They started holding doors and saying, "Excuse me." But I'm telling you, they had a little, they was a little scared. They were a little jittery. They just wanted to do the right thing. You know, typically happens. I don't know about your neighborhood. I'm in New York City. It typically happens. You know, we'll have that crazy person on something or whatever. They on some crazy drugs or whatever, and they start going off. And somebody give them a little boop, and they be like, all of a sudden they got it together. Shoot. Here in the Bronx, you ain't gotta be on night. They'll just pretend you are. They will and act like animals. I'm telling you, very immature. I don't put my hands on people in the middle of the street, but yeah, people be getting a little jittery after a situation because they had trauma. Trauma, okay? That's what happens. They can still function, still have friends, still get by. So there's no pressure to change. People act immature their whole life. Everybody's like, oh, we out here living in the real world, and we seem to have forgotten that the kids that were in special ed are outside too. Yeah, you guys really did forget that the children that were in special ed are outside. You also forgot that some of them graduated from college with degrees and continued on to have a awesome career, while some of you who weren't even in special ed are out here acting like immature children, unable to complete a single task. Pay attention, okay? Just want to put that out there because it's not about disability. It's not. It's about being immature. There's a lot of people who are disabled and are very immature. And there's a lot of people who have no disability, no mental illness at all, okay? And they act immature. And I understand because I'm telling you, a lot of people, they don't want to be labeled as dealing with mental illness. That's the problem. But it is trauma, okay? However you want to put it, however you want to call it. I'm not the therapist. I'm not the doctor, okay? I won't label a single person in this room. And I wouldn't want anybody to label me. So I won't say that. And you shouldn't say that when somebody's feeling no ways. Okay? So people don't usually have pressure to change, but you see how I told you, sometimes people get involved in situations that influences their growth. But as I told you before, you're dang near just being a parent and giving them that same behavioral change that their parents used to give them, if that's the way they grew up. All right? Okay, so we're talking about growth. And remember, growth is very, very uncomfortable. It means admitting you're wrong. It means changing your habits. It means looking at yourself honestly. Stop pretending, okay? Most people avoid that. They can't look at themselves in the mirror. They can't look at themselves in the mirror because of everything that they did in their life. They would have to remind themselves of who they are where they came from and all the evil that they've done. And they sit there. They can't look at themselves. They don't even want to think about the mistakes they made. So a lot of times people don't want to apologize because they don't have to think about it anymore. Like a little kid's like, let it go. You know? You got to start changing. But how do we actually change? Like, what if you actually wanted to grow? Well, let me tell you, people. It starts simple. Okay? Be honest with yourself. Okay? Not the version you show people. Be honest with yourself. The real version. Be honest with who you are. You know? Like, think about, like, where do you avoid? Where do you lie? Where do you act out of ego? Think about it. You know? Say what you actually mean instead of ignoring. Act your age. Say it now. Don't wait till later. Just say it. If you need space, say, I need space. I need to go. I don't like the way this room is looking. I got to go. Okay? Instead of lying, don't lie. You might not be the only person feeling that way. And if not, you're seeing things clearly. It's about you. It's not about them. Tell the truth early. You know? And that's like if it's somebody you care about. If it's not somebody you care about, slip out the back door. I'm telling you. You know? If it feels uncomfortable, that's grown, people. Take accountability fast. Don't wait until things fall apart. Don't wait until it's too late. If you're wrong, you're wrong. All right? If you're wrong, just say it. You know, if you don't want to be a sorry person, just say, I apologize. You don't want to apologize, just say, whatever. I didn't mean to do that. Whatever. Explain what you're going to start doing better. Because to me, apologies don't mean nothing. Being better means something. Knowing like, okay, I know I made a mistake, but I'm going to try to do better. All right? Just say it, you know? That one habit alone separates you from a lot of people. All right? Check your intentions too. Before you do something, people, ask yourself, would I respect this if someone did it to me? When you do things to people, think about how would you feel if somebody did what you did to them? How would you feel if somebody did that to you? Okay? Think about that next time you're out there doing things that you know isn't right. All right? Because it's easy to just sit here and talk about other people. All right? I'd never do that. Okay? But the real question is this. Where are you still growing? Where? Where are you still reacting instead of responding? Where are you choosing comfort over change? Where? Where in your life? Are you growing? Okay? Growing older is automatic, people. But growing up, that's a decision you make every single day. So today, move a little different. Okay, people? Be a little more honest, a little more accountable, and a little less childish. Okay? I'll see you guys tomorrow. All right? Have a good one, people. Stay lit. Stay true. All right? Bye.